mysteries. There are many that have been left behind, unsolved throughout the years. Every one of them is surrounded by conspiracies. Of course, all accusations are different based on evidence left behind. Welcome to ChitChat Conspiracies, here to inform you about the most popular theories worldwide.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Laylan, and this is my podcast. As many know, Prince Roger Nelson, American singer-songwriter, passed April 21st of 2016. Many have heard since then that it was caused by an accidental fentanyl overdose. Now, as many may know or not know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding his death, such as things he was very cautious about and TV shows. An autopsy found he died of an accidental overdose, a synthetic opioid, 50 times more powerful than heroin. But Carver County Police said Prince thought he was taking a common painkiller, Vicodin, but instead it was a counterfeit laced with fentanyl. Carver County Police says it's still a mystery of how he encountered the deadly pills and whom he got them from. There was not enough evidence to prosecute anyone for a crime. Some documents had been said from Prince's inner circle, including his bodyguard and a state manager, who told investigators that they noticed Prince looking just a little frail. Days after seeing a nurse for monitoring testing, Johnson took Prince to see Schellenberg for flu symptoms. The doctor then ran some tests, and he had tested positive for opioids. At that point, they contacted a specialist, Howard Cornfield, who his son, Andrew, came to Minnesota. When there, Prince was still warm to the touch when he found his body on the morning of April 21st. But he said that the rigor mortis had begun to set in. His closest friend had said Prince was a very private person, and they all tried to respect that. His friend said, and that's what angers me, because it's like, man, how did he hide this so well? One of Prince's sisters tweeted and had said, there is so much about Prince's death and this investigation that troubles me and millions of Prince's fans around the world. As many may know, the famous and well-known song sung by Prince called Let's Go Crazy, you may catch a weird feeling after I tell you this. So Prince had always told people, just simply thought elevators were evil. And that's kind of odd. But in an interview Prince had with CBS this morning, L.A. Reid revealed that Prince once told him that elevator was the devil, to never get in them. A spooky coincidence had then happened that Prince was found nearby his elevator in his Paisley Park home on the day of his death. So with all that being said about him, those devils, if you now go listen to his song, it quotes in the very beginning of his little speech he gives. Quote, and if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy. Push a higher floor. End quote. If you think about this, Prince predicted his own death. It's weird to think about, but Prince had a brief and somewhat awkward involvement with social media. He had posted something on Instagram shortly before his death. It had a picture of him which reportedly contained a deleted message saying, just when you thought you were safe. People had said Prince was prone to mysterious pronouncements, and had this been one of his interpreted by more conspiracy-prone corners of the internet, meaning he knew he was in danger. Prince had then predicted his own death again, and that's twice of him doing this. During his final appearance during a party at his Paisley Park home, Just after his reported treatment for his overdose, it had been days before his death. Prince had said to his attendees, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." Prince had then brought the Illuminati into it. Prince was offered after spreading the word about chemtrails. Chemtrails being, the visible trail left in the sky by an aircraft. They say chemtrails are also like the conspiracy community's own bat signal, streaking across the sky in a call action. The interview with Prince discussed chemtrails has sparked speculation that Illuminati might have done him in. And that's a little suspicious. But Prince was so private about his life that whenever he was getting something done at a salon in Washington, to not only ask the salon to close down for the day while crafting his new coif, meaning a style or arrangement for someone's hair in an elaborate way, but to even have them black out their windows so no prying eyes could peep in. So that being said about Prince's conspiracies and how his death suddenly happened off common painkillers, there's a lot more to it. Stay tuned to Leyland's podcast.
Have you seen Sasquatch in your backyard lately and are just completely terrified of what he might do to you and your family since he's just so dang big? Well, do I have the thing for you, the Sasquatch Killer 2000. Not only is it the best gun on the market to kill Sasquatch, but it's the only gun on the market to kill Sasquatch. With its new effective range of 2,000 feet, it's good for anything, but especially good for Sasquatch. If you need to know more, it's $299, and all you got to do is go to SasquatchGun.com. That's SasquatchGun.com.
Hello, this is Abby Rosenka, here to talk about how our favorite rappers and pop singers are all wrapped up in this Illuminati New World Order. Let's get into it. We have all wondered what is going on with the one-eye coverings and why all these rappers have been including so many evil symbols into their music videos, stage performances, and hand gestures. It is all very simple. They're in the Illuminati. If we dive into this topic, we can find some evidence behind this theory. Before we go straight into it, though, here's a little background on the Illuminati. On May 1st, 1776, a professor of law named Adam Weishaupt decided he wanted to start a secret organization that essentially tries to prevent religious influence throughout society. This was his motive due to the fact the university he studied at was highly motivated by religious beliefs. After he got his organization organized, he picked 5 of his smartest and brightest law students to join him. After this, Adam's small get-together grew rapidly and became something more. The members did their best to spread Weishaupt's ideas and teachings the best they could, while also trying to gather more people to spread the group's teachings. This group eventually grew up to 2,000 members throughout Bavaria, Hungary, France, Italy, and Poland, amid other places. Yes, Weishaupt did want this organization to be run without the religious control, but he also wanted to be head of an organization, putting him in control of a group of people, which makes this whole situation a little bit fishy. His new name for the control and teachings of his group was the New World Order. This order should eventually end up having our whole society following what the Illuminati teaches and believes. Now, I feel like this idea isn't terrible. I understand why someone would want to start this. The ideas of the Illuminati give society the ability to make their own decisions and not have to follow religious principles. The only problem with this idea is that we need structure as human beings. This idea of having no faith and structure to follow is kind of eerie. I feel like we follow people and their ideas all the time. Religion is really important to people, myself included. I feel like with the Illuminati's ideas of a new world order, an attempt to essentially erase the idea of us being influenced by our religious teachers and models could be super destructive and could eventually turn into a dictatorship, which is what most believe today has already happened. So now we're all probably wondering how this little group spread to our favorite rappers and pop singers. Turns out, if you offer anyone a spot at fame, money, fans, and basically whatever you want, they usually take it. In an interview with Katy Perry, she had stated, "I released a gospel record when I was 15, because I grew up in a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers." She also said, "I sang about what was happening in my life at 15. That's how I got introduced to the music industry, because I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, so I sold my soul to the devil." Now, I don't know about you, but that's alarming. There is also a line from Mobb Deep's Prodigy in 1995 remix of one of LL Cool J's songs called "I Shot Ya," stating, "Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me." I feel like this line does the speaking for itself. There are loads of lyrics, interviews, sayings, hand gestures, and just celebrities admitting they have been involved or are involved in the Illuminati. Most of us just brush over it and think it's a joke, but that's why they admit to it, because they know we won't take them seriously. We have all heard of the Illuminati or some kind of modified version of it. We shouldn't be surprised our favorite singers/rappers are involved in this organization, considering the fact they are some of the most powerful people in America. We need to stay alert and be able to know when we are being persuaded by our Illuminati-affiliated celebrities. Thank you, and stay tuned for more conspiracy theories. I'm Abby. I'm out.
As summer is approaching with warm weather, we are all super excited to jump right into the pools. Wouldn't you want to add an addition to your summer by purchasing the newest aerial feet? The aerial feet is the newest step to becoming as fast as a mermaid. We have harvested the tails from the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean from real mermaids. They only come in blue and green and has real scale tail texture. Don't miss out on this awesome realistic experience and buy it now.
Today I'm going to be talking about the JonBenet Ramsey. Who was JonBenet? JonBenet was a 6-year-old who loved doing pageants. She was the only daughter in the family. On December 26, 1996, John and Patty awoke to find their 6-year-old daughter JonBenet Ramsey missing from her bed at their home in Boulder, Colorado. Patty and John had woken up early to prepare for a trip when Patty discovered a ransom note on the stairs demanding they wanted $118,000 for their daughter to return safe home. Despite the note warning not involve police to come to the scene, Patty immediately called them, as well as friends and family, in order to aid in a research for JonBenet. Police arrived at 5:55 a.m. and found no signs of forced entry, but did not However, later on, her father went to the basement and found the body of the 6-year-old JonBenet and picked her up, taking her upstairs. Later on, there was the autopsy report with signs that she had been beaten and strangled, with tape found over her mouth, with her hands tied up, and signs of sexual assault. Detectives did not do a good job with the crime and closing the evidence in-house. Something bad that also happened was that her father had went to the basement and found the body of the 6-year-old JonBenet and picked her up, taking her upstairs. Later on, there was the autopsy report with signs that she had been beaten and strangled, with tape found over her mouth, with her hands tied up, and signs of sexual assault. Detectives did not do a good job with the crime and closing the evidence in-house. Something bad that also happened was that her father had picked the daughter up, brought her upstairs. There was no sign of an intruder. Suspicious quickly fell on her parents. The ransom note had been written down with the same paper that was found in the house. Some weird things also was that the note was weirdly written down. The Ramseys failed to cooperate with the investigation. There are two popular theories in the Ramsey case. The family theory is that the intruder theory. The initial investigation focused heavily on the Ramsey family for many reasons. The police felt that the ransom note was staged, as it was usually long written with a pen and paper from the Ramsey's house, and demanded almost the exact same amount of money that John had received as a bonus earlier that year. Additionally, the Ramseys were recalled to cooperate with the police, though they later said This was because they feared the police would not conduct a full investigation and target at them as easy suspect. However, all three members immediately were questioned by the investigation and submitting handwriting samples to compare the ransom letter. Both John and Burke were cleared of any suspicion of writing the note, although much was made that Patsy could not be conclusively cleared by her handwriting sample. This analysis was not further supported by any other evidence. Despite a larger pool of suspects, the media immediately focused on JonBenet's parents, and they spent years under the harsh of the public eye. And now we're going to start talking about the theories that people had suggested or what they think. Theory 1, the parents did it. In court of the public opinion, Patricia and John Ramsey have always been common suspects in JonBenet Ramsey case. Theories believe that several pieces of evidence point that the parents have done some sort of involvement. First, the paper used to written on the Ramsey note was later found to be Patricia's own notepad. Second, the garrote tied around JonBenet's neck was fashioned from a Patricia's paintbrush. And third, in the ransom note, the kidnapper demanded the exact same amount of John's had received as a Christmas bonus that year. Theory 2, the brother did it. Another popular theory suggests that one night JonBenet's death, brother Burke Ramsey, 9 at the time, had gotten out of his bed for a bowl of pineapple. When JonBenet heard him get up, she followed him to the kitchen according to theories. When she stole a piece of pineapple from Burke, he lost his temper. The theory especially gained traction in 2006 when CBS documentary said about the case mentioned that the child was found to have pieces of pineapple die just after the death. One woman claiming to be her friend of Ramsey family reported that the son that the boy had known for having emotional outbursts. Theory 3, the teacher did it. In 2006, former teacher John Mark Carr confessed to the murder of JonBenet Ramsey. In a series of emails to the University of Colorado, Professor Carr described the graphic details that he had accidentally killed a girl kidnapping from her bed. Carr was evading several charges of possession of child pornography in Thailand at the time of the confession. DNA evidence later say Carr from the murder, along with alibi that he was within his family in Atlanta for Christmas at the time of the crime was committed. In conclusion, while many theories exist, no suspects are being publicly pursued at this time. Many believe JonBenet Ramsey will go unsolved. And this case has been a cold case for about a few years now since her death, and nobody knows what happened to JonBenet Ramsey.
Are you an avid water drinker? Do you find yourself interested in mythical creatures and cryptids such as Bigfoot or even the guy from the Lucky Charms box? Well, today we've got a product for you. We've got water directly from Loch Ness in Scotland. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can drink the same water that Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, has swam in. I'm joined here by Dr. Scoots, and he's going to tell us more about this beautiful drink.
When I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this has been purified from generations upon generations of Loch Nessies, it has been from rock to rock to rock. It has been primed from its slime all the way down to this nice little tight packaging. It's the safest water you can drink. It's non-toxic, full of hydration material, and has a lot of electrolytes. This will hydrate you faster than...
Thank you, Dr. Scoots. Let's cancel that trip to Scotland because we're going to send the water directly to your house. That's right. If you call now, we will send the water directly to your house. That is Nessie Water.
Marilyn Monroe, age 36, found dead in her home on August 5, 1962, in her bedroom. The cause of death, a drug overdose, or so we think. What if it was not a suicide, but a murder instead? A former detective has claimed that Monroe's death was organized by Robert Kennedy. According to research, Marilyn Monroe had a secret affair with President John F. Kennedy after meeting in 1961. With JFK's top priority being re-election, he ended the affair with Marilyn and introduced her to his brother, Robert Kennedy, also known as Bobby. An affair sparked right after. Being with both political brothers has caused Marilyn to be exposed to many confidential files. One day, Robert Kennedy decided to end his affair with Marilyn, and she went bonkers. She threatened to go to the public about their secret and expose the other confidential conversations she had learned. It has been confirmed that Marilyn Monroe was going to fight fire with fire and go to the public about the secrets the Kennedys have held on to. One secret would have been to expose the CIA's plan to kill Cuban President Fidel Castro. There were many claims in an FBI file that Robert came to visit Marilyn the day she died. One of the claims coming from her housekeeper, Eunice Murray. Kennedy and Monroe had an altercation over her diary. The diary had entries about both Kennedy brothers. After her death, the Los Angeles Police Department found Monroe's diary. The entries did confirm that she was going to expose both brothers. Until the day he died, Robert Kennedy always denied being in LA the night of Monroe's death. According to Peter Lawford, the Kennedys' brother-in-law, he said he was there that night and even witnessed the whole thing. Apparently, Bobby slipped a sedative in Marilyn's drink, not something that would kill her. Years after the death, there was an FBI file that mentioned the involvement of the Kennedy brothers. The file included that Robert Kennedy had booked out the Beverly Hills Hotel that day before flying to San Francisco, and where he made a phone call to his brother-in-law, Peter, where he asked if Peter found out if Marilyn was dead yet. The Kennedys definitely have something to hide. Also, on the night of the murder, many witnesses reported hearing a woman scream. The woman was never identified. Murderers, you murderers, are you satisfied now that she is dead? It is easy to conclude that her death was a suicide due to her past addiction to pills and alcohol. It is also believable because of the crime scene description, where pills were scattered all over the floor while she was on her bed naked. It has also been mentioned to the public that maybe a mob killed her. The mob saw her as his blessing. They adored her and used her in any way they wanted. They thought that using Monroe in such a way would indeed hurt the Kennedy brothers. The mob hated the family, mainly because of both brothers' desire to stop organized crime. We can go on and on about the conspiracies that did spark after her tragic death. Lots of information shows that maybe we should not conclude it a suicide. Credits to BuzzFeed Unsolved Network, Grunge, and US Magazine.
Hey! Stop right there. If you enjoy fishing and catching monsters, the Mega Rod is the invention for you. It is strong, durable, and most of all, it has Loch Ness Monster catching abilities. With a great low price of $199, I repeat, $199, the Mega Rod is the thing for you. For more information, dial 1-800-LOCH-NESS-MONSTER. That is 1-800-LOCH-NESS-MONSTER. Get to fishing.
The Illuminati. Is it real? Or is it just a figment of our paranoid imaginations? Welcome to an unforgettable journey. I am your speculation scout, Ant, and today we're going to be uncovering the mystery that is the Illuminati. Before we begin, I need to make it clear that we are discussing the modern Illuminati, not the 15th century Illuminati. However, the premise remains the same. The Illuminati is a group of rich and elite who aim to control the world. But how do we know of their existence? Exhibit A, Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove is a park in California where many rich, wealthy, and elites of the society hang out regularly. It is said that they dress in robes and burn a giant owl in secret. Not much is known about this place or why these behaviors are going on with people of such a high status. But one thing is for sure. Nothing is for sure. If the elusiveness didn't spook you to the core already, then it should be known that it is believed that their headquarters resides in the Denver International Airport. Before I leave you, I want to remind you of one other thing. And that thing is the Great Pyramids of Giza. Giza. Have you been there? Well, I haven't, but if you have, you know that they were built by the aliens. But did you know that the Illuminati also had an impact on their creation? Time travel, my friends. Time travel. Don't let the Illuminati control you. This is your Speculation Scout Ant signing off. And remember, always keep your tinfoil hats secured on your head.
Who knew that Prince would have predicted his own death, or even had suspicions for elevators, as well as our famous and well-known rappers and pop singers to have drawn themselves or have gotten drawn into this Illuminati stuff, and how JonBenet Ramsey's death still remains a mystery. Lastly, how Marilyn Monroe's death was an overdose but could have been a murder. We thank you for tuning in to our podcast. This is ChitChat Conspiracies. We'll see you later.